Hello! Today I'm gonna tell you what I've been up to, why there were no videos, and finally we'll answer some of your questions from the comments. Let's start from the obvious. 11 months with no videos. We are a small team of just 2 people, and it took us between 3 weeks and 1 month to make just one video. That included driving around, location scouting, recording and mixing all original music for the videos, making multiple patch examples, and because we have just one camera and almost no other video gear like contraptions for top-down filming, it was impossible for us to have a good workflow. So after a few videos we've realized that we either make videos simpler to some extent, like no outdoor filming for example, thus saving on fuel, and we've tried that, but the videos were not as fun as before, or just stop doing gear videos altogether. And that is ultimately what happened. We are both musicians. Instead of making music, we were working almost full-time, essentially for free, considering the time we spent and the fuel we burned. So we had no choice but to find a better use of our time. We have a major announcement to make regarding the future of Station 252, but that deserves a video of its own that will come out in a few days. Now regarding gear demos, I would happily do it again. So if you are an instrument maker or audio gear manufacturer, please don't hesitate, get in touch and we can discuss a possible collaboration. And now I'm gonna answer some of the questions you left in the comments. Questions from Great Sounding Filter video. This is about Tip-Top Audio Z2040 filter. Lebaner Fan 65 says, take the signal out of the 2040, invert it and mix it with the original signal and you've got a high pass. In the video I was saying that I would, I guess I was implying that I would like to have a Z2040 in a high pass configuration, and for sure I know about the patch you're proposing. However, that is a very cumbersome way of having a high pass filter, especially in a live situation. Andrew Wanakaro, wondering what you think of the Bubble Sound LP40, similar as i2140 chip architecture and with attenuated CV over both frequency and resonance. Well, I've tried filters made on those chips. They are definitely from similar family of filters, but definitely not the same filter. I love the Bubble Sound SAM20 that they have, but I never tried the one that you mentioned. I wish I had one, but cannot have everything. Also, just curious about your thoughts on the TTA Forbidden Planet and how it compares to the Z2040. Forbidden Planet is a completely different animal. There are 2 things about the Forbidden Planet that are absolutely amazing. First, a kind of less useful thing is that you have dedicated inputs into each core, so low pass, band pass, high pass, and one output. It's very, very cool. But the most amazing thing about Forbidden Planet is its high pass filter. It's absolutely beautiful. Highly recommended. Question from the same person. Do you know if there are any difference in sound or function between the older black and silver faceplate and the newer one? No, for sure not in function. Sound-wise, maybe slight difference because the real old ones are through-hole with 2 PCBs, the newer ones are SMT with 1 PCB. That makes the newer one cleaner sounding. That can be an advantage and a disadvantage, depends on the application. So I have one of the older varieties and a bunch of newer ones. I don't really care which one I use at any given time. I never felt any difference, but there should be a very, very slight difference just because of the cleaner architecture of the newer model. Functionality-wise, it's exactly the same. A comment from the recording of my live set, which is called Over a Willow Tree. Red Motion Games asks, just a single Mantis case? That's amazing. Thank you. Do you have a rack on modular grid for this? No, I do not have. Haven't opened modular grid since a long time. Which sequencers do you use? Are the drums, samples, or analog? So sequencers I use in this particular recording. I think I've used only circadian rhythms. The drums. Okay, so the drums were samples plus a bit of tip-top drum modules. I cannot really remember what exactly I've used, but yeah, I don't think I've that was one of the most minimalistic systems I've had, and actually had one of the best results. So if you have a small system, it doesn't mean you're gonna make worse music. Maybe you actually gonna make better music with a smaller system. And from personal experience, I can say that having a bigger system doesn't necessarily equate for better music. MZ6268 asks, how can you have such a small amount of sounds sounding so big? Good sound sources use high quality reverbs and delays, and in this case the mixer played a huge role because the APB has such an amazing headroom, plus years of experience doesn't hurt. A question from Mixers Part 1 overview video. Mosonic asks, great, thank you. Currently I am searching for a mixer. What kind of mixer is yours? Will you demonstrate some different mixers? What do you think about digital mixers? I have 3 mixers here. One is, this guy behind you is the Mackie VLZ3 1604. It's a really nice mixer. I keep it specifically for situations where I need to play live gigs and I need to bring my own mixer, because the APB, which I would always prefer, but it's heavier, it's bulkier, it's more difficult to carry, and it's way more expensive, so it's kind of stressful to take it out. And the only reason why the Mackie right now is standing in the studio is because my Dynasonics is in our rehearsal space where we currently recording an album. So I'm using it for basically with microphones, testing the preamps, and I also filmed that. I'm not sure how it's gonna come out and when, but that's supposed to be the part 3 of the mixer series. Not sure it's gonna be that way. Maybe it's gonna be just the behind the scene of recording the album. I really don't know yet. So regarding the comparing mixers, yeah, I would like to do that, but it's really difficult to compare mixers. As I found out, I'm very good at demonstrating gear and getting amazing results out of it, but not reviewing gear. I don't have the discipline nor the technical infrastructure to actually make proper comparisons. I have the Dynasonics, which is like obviously better than Mackie. Why would I compare them side by side? It's unfair to Mackie, basically, which is not a bad mixer, it's just way cheaper and less sophisticated than the Dynasonics. The other mixer I have is the DDA, what is it called, this 16-channel DDA, small one, Behringer made purple mixer. However, during my last trip to the UK, the outputs stopped working properly. The only reason I'm still using is because I don't have an RCA to jack cable, and I need a way to connect my phono preamp to somewhere, and I only have RCA to RCA. So yeah, it kind of functions as a cable converter. The XLR outputs are still working, the monitor outputs are dead. Digital mixers. Oh god. In a creative situation, in studio situation, I would always be against digital mixers. They are not really made for that. However, in a live situation, if you mix a live band, especially more than one band in one evening, digital mixers are just unbeatable in this case. A question from Mixers Part 2, Arrangement 2. S2A0S1H2. What a wonderful nickname! Great, and many thanks for your videos, especially regarding 1020. That's the Dynasonics APB mixer. Thank you. I'm thinking about picking up one. I was wondering how you returning the effects in your demo. Okay, so first of all, I always send sounds to the effects from auxiliary buses and return them into channels, not auxiliary returns. The reason why I always return effects into channels is multiple reasons. First of all, faders. Easier to control the volume. Second, those channels have equalizers. You can send effects back to other effects via auxiliary buses, and you have a proper input gain on those channels. So easier to gain stage. It is possible that I was using some effects as inserts in the patch. It really depends on the application. Mosonic says, I wish you would release more of your music. Nearly all the sounds I listen to in your videos are exactly my taste. I love your mixture of dub techno, crackles, atmosphere and sounds. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, and you will have to watch the space. More on that in the next video. You won't be disappointed. Thank you for watching and keep on patching.